Hello and welcome back to the Association Podcast. I am very excited about our guest today, President and CEO of Proximo, David
Yeah,
Ricciardi.
there is a lot of information out there, even at a mid-sized association. They will often have a good deal of data, and then turning it into information is the tough part, which kind of speaks to our tagline that we have over here. Taking all that data and turning it into something you can actually use is there's a lot that goes into that beyond the technology, actually. And I think a lot of associations are still grappling with that, from the strategy they need to execute all the way through to the actual execution. I mean, a strategy for me always needs to be very practical and tactical. So it has to have the tactical elements. I mean, and so you have to know what you've got to do in the right order, how much roughly it's going to cost, what does it mean in terms of staff. And again, if it's a real strategy, we're talking about data. Don't just think about the platform that you need. You've got to think about people and culture and data quality and all those other things that people sometimes think are the easy things. Oh, if we build it, they'll come. And that's not the way it works. Technology is actually easier to solve than people are. It's a matter of looking at what you've got today, inventorying it, measuring the baseline. Wherever you are is where you are, and then just putting a plan in place to make it better. And it could come down to something as simple as we do a lot of email marketing, and we do that baseline, and our emails are only 70% accurate. The rest bounce or they're invalid. So where do we go from here? How do we get to 75%? How do we get to 80%? It can be small steps, looking at the most important data in the organization, and then building it out from there. So that's how I kind of define quality. It's just better than you have it today. I mean, people used to think that, and some of them still think, the AMS is the stop and start of everything. It's and it is a core platform, but ultimately, in my view, it's mostly a transactional platform. And it's got to do what you need it to do, but it doesn't need to do everything. Whenever you look at a platform and you expect it to do everything, you are always going to be disappointed. So, and that's why a lot of associations, especially in the larger end, have a best of breed approach. They will have an AMS, but then there's something else that's handling the CMS, and another platform that's doing the email campaigns and the marketing automation. And then there's another one, one or more LMSs, depending on the product they have. And so that best of breed approach, it can be good as long as you've got a good strategy to finally integrate all that data, so that you're not just swimming in data, you've got information. And being a data-driven culture means a few different things. It means the willingness to explore data, the willingness to ask what may be uncomfortable questions, the ability to be able to ask those questions and then discuss the answers in a safe space, which is sometimes an overused term. But some cultures are not like that. Do not question the sacred cow. Let the sacred cow be over there. But those kinds of things all go into being a real data-driven culture. Top down, horizontal, vertical. Looking at something and saying, well, our membership renewals are down a little bit. Why? I'm seeing this. I'm seeing that. What's going on over here? And then being able to talk to your peers that have the relevant subject matter expertise to figure out why, and then most importantly, what are you going to do to fix there? So I can't show you the visual I have for this, but in the value chain of data is what I call. You start with your basic data review, which is inventorying what you've got access to. You then worry about the integration of that data so that you can bring it all together. These are your baseline steps. Then you get to the analytics, which is a lot of the data science and the visualization and all of that sort of stuff. And then you get to insights. The analytics may be a mathematical model, it may be probability and all this other stuff that people don't like to think in terms of math. So the insights is how you translate that into something your business can understand. Your product people, your CMO, your CEO, all of that sort of stuff. And so if you're an association that has limited bandwidth, limited staffing resources, that's really where you want to focus. Working with your analytics as a service partners to say, all right, what are we seeing here? Oh, that's interesting. I know somebody's working on that. This is something we should bring to them. So it's like the translator, your internal stakeholder that's helping you digest all of this, turn it into business speak. and then be able to partner with those different departments to affect change that ultimately moves the needle with the customer.
I'm ready for you.